Hello everybody! In today's video, we'll be taking a detailed look at Bachmann's N-scale Toby the Tram engine from the Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends universe. We bought Toby at Christmas time from Charles Rowe Supply in Malden, Massachusetts for about $75. But we haven't had a chance to review him until now because we've been busy redoing our track layout this winter. We think our track layout is in good enough shape now where we can start resuming our reviews of our locomotive and rolling stock collection. So let's give Toby an unboxing and let's take a look. Alright, let's take a little look at the packaging here. This N-scale stuff from Bachmann is extremely well packaged. It's in this very rigid, hard plastic case. And there's just no way this can get damaged, in my opinion, unless it's really bashed around. But I think in normal transportation or whatever, yeah, this is pretty good packaging. In case you missed it, there's that Charles Rowe price tag there, $75.95. And then inside that hard case, there's Toby's sandwiched in between some of that kind of blister packaging, that you see things packaged in. Not quite sure what the technical term for that, but it's a, pliable plastic. And it's got some paperwork here. I'll fold it up. It's got the parts list and things like that. There's the limited warranty there. We won't unfold all that. It's all folded up pretty good. It's all typical stuff. And then he's, like I said, sandwiched in this interior plastic, kind of molded plastic. And there's a good look at him. So yeah, great packaging job by Bachmann here. Alright, let's get him on the turntable and take a look. So Toby is a steam-powered tram-type locomotive. His wheel configuration is an 060, which means he's got no leading wheels, 6 drive wheels, 3 on each side, and no trailing wheels. He currently works the Northwestern Railway and wears the number 7. We've done 2 other reviews of Toby. One was Bachmann's HO scale Toby, and the other was Bachmann's G scale Toby. In those videos, we've gotten into a little detail about Toby's history and personality, so we'll just summarize here. Toby is an older locomotive. His original tramway line was shut down, but luckily he was bought by the Fat Controller to run the tram road on the Farquhar Quarry of the Northwestern Railway. Toby typically pulls a coach by the name of Henrietta. Henrietta isn't available in N-scale yet, but you can pre-order it. The Train World website says it will be available December 31st, 2024. In case you're curious, we have Henrietta in HO scale. You can see the HO version of Henrietta in our HO scale Toby review. Now, like all locomotives and rolling stock in the Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends universe, Toby is based on an actual real-life locomotive. He's based on the GER Class C53 and the LNER J70. So, how can he be based on 2 different locomotives? Well, they were originally designed for the Great Eastern Railway. That's where the GER comes from, and designated the Class C53. That classification was before the grouping, or the Railways Act 1921. You can find plenty of expert descriptions of the Railways Act 1921 online, but here's a very general explanation. Before the Railways Act 1921, the British railway system had over 100 operators. The Railways Act 1921 consolidated all of those operators into 4 main railway operators. These 4 railways were commonly known as the Big Four. They included the Great Western Railway, or GWR, the London, Midland and Scottish Railway, or LMS, the London and North Eastern Railway, or LNER, and the Southern Railway, or SR. After the grouping, the Great Eastern Railway, or GER Class C53 tram locomotives, were transferred over to the London and Northeastern Railway, or LNER, and given the classification LNERJ70. There were 12 locomotives produced between 1903 and 1921. One unit was withdrawn from service in 1942, and the rest were withdrawn between 1949 and 1955. All were scrapped, though there is a Toby replica at the East Anglian Railway Museum about 70 miles northeast of London. Okay, with that out of the way, let's take a detailed look at Bachmann's N-scale Toby. Alright, so taking a look at Toby here, we'll start from the side view, and as you can see, the predominant feature here is that brown color and that wood planking side there. And then you've got the darker brown for the framing, the window framing and all that. And of course, you've got the nice bright yellow with the red outline number 7 there. You got the nice gray side plates with the step-ups into the cabin area, which is really just kind of just black plastic there. There's no real entryway there. And then you've got these brass-colored handholds on either side of the entryways there, which is kind of a nice feature. Well, let's see what else we got going on here. You'll be able to see it better from the top, but you've got the bell and the bell cable feature up there on the top as well. And then you might be able to see the little chimney there on the top. But yeah, it's quite a nicely detailed locomotive for N scale. But let's give it a turn. There's a nice 3/4 view there. And as we come around, you'll see here, at least from the end, you'll see it better from the top, but you got the coupler here, of course. And then you've got your graded cow catcher feature there. There's probably a more technical term for that. And then you've got your buffers. The buffer beam there is painted in red, and then you've got your black, bumper pads there. And then you've got that wood planking, simulated wood planking. This is all plastic construction here. With that darker framing, which is kind of nice. And you've got that lamp feature on the back. That's not just a sticker. That is actually a piece that's glued onto the back there. And you've got your arched gray roof. But yeah, there's a look from the back. Let's continue around. Alright, so looking at the opposite side here, this side is identical to the opposite side.
Identical.
The really only big difference here is that there's no bell feature on the roof, but as far as the actual side goes, it's identical to the opposite side. So let's just bring it around. And here's the money shot here with Toby's smiling face. Now on the HO scales and above, so our HO scale and G scale, the eyes will traverse back and forth when the locomotive is moving down the rail. But for the N scale, the eyes don't traverse, just so you know that. But yeah, so this is pretty cool here. You got the face, you got the lamp application here, a couple of windows at the top. There's windows in the rear too. I didn't point those out specifically, but I'm sure you saw them. Got the red buffer beam and the black painted buffer pads there, and a coupler in the front. But yeah, so there's Toby from the front. Good looking locomotive. Let's take a look at the top and the bottom. Yeah, trying to get this in focus here. So small that it's hard to get the camera to focus on it. But yeah, looking at the roof here, this is a light gray kind of curved roof here, just smooth plastic. Kind of a gloss finish there. And then again, you've got your bell feature here across one of the sides with the brass painted bell there. And then this feature here across the kind of diagonal, not quite diagonal, but at an angle off to the side. I'm not sure what that is, what that would be in real life. But if it was on the real locomotive, it's on this too. So that's kind of cool. And then you've got again, that chimney there. Now these are steam locomotives, and I just can't imagine what it was like to be inside that thing with a steam engine running. Jeez, must have been hot and loud. All right, let's take a look at the bottom. Okay, looking at the bottom here, you've got your 6 drive wheels here. Those are metal wheels, obviously for conductivity purposes. And then you can see the couplers there in profile. Those are typical N-scale couplers. You got your little engine casing here. And there's a couple of access screws, Bachmann logo, and then a little part number painted in white right there. So get a close-up look at that, just so you get a look at the bottom. Not a ton to see, no model details under there. It's all business for accessing or gaining access to the little motor compartment there and such. All right, let's throw it back on the turntable and give it another turn. All right, let's give it one final turn. All right, so before we get our N-scale Toby on the track and take it for a run, we always think it's fun to just put all of the scales side by side. So here on the far right is the G or garden scale Toby, and then you've got your HO there in the center, and then you've got the N-scale obviously on the far left there. But Bachmann really does a great job at carrying through the details from across the different scales. So, there's really hardly any difference as far as the level of detail goes. There's a couple of small things, only because the G scale Toby allows for more, it's just bigger, so it allows for more details. Like the bell feature is, looks like a true bell feature, where when you get down to the N scale, the bell is just a molded piece of plastic into the roof. And then the smaller scales have more painted details on them, like the steps, where the G scale Toby actually has slots for the steps on the side plating. And then the cowcatcher feature in the front is actual grating, versus on the HO scale Toby, it's molded plastic, and then on the N scale Toby, I think those grates are kind of painted in there. But yeah, and the only other real visual difference is that the HO scale Toby has a yellow light in front above the face, and the other two scales have a silver light, or the lens is painted silver. But otherwise, it's a pretty consistent level of detail and appearance across all 3 scales. So great job by Bachmann, in our opinion. But anyway, just thought you'd like to take a look. And I think now it's time to get our N-scale Toby out on the track.